Welcome to this course on soap making. You do not necessarily have to completely understand the chemistry of soap making in order to make soap at home. Don't be scared from this enjoyable craft because of its relationship to chemistry. You can be a great soap maker even if you can't quite grasp the exact process of saponification. So why do we learn soap making? Commercial soap manufacturers learned that they could remove the natural glycerine in the soap, which gives its moisturizing properties. They sell glycerine or use it in other higher priced products like the moisturizers and cream you need when the soap dries out on your skin. Removing the natural glycerine also extends the shelf life of the soap, so it can sit in storehouse or on store shelves for many years. Handmade soaps, however, retain the glycerine and offer moisturizing properties. Today, there is a heightened awareness of the possible adverse effects of many of the synthetic additives and chemicals in commercial soap. Educated consumers are turning to natural products. Even large companies are starting to advertise natural ingredients in their products. But beware, the addition of one or two natural ingredients does not make a product all natural. It is virtually impossible for large companies to create natural handmade soaps. Most commercial soaps available today are actually detergents. They are made from petroleum byproducts. Since these soaps are detergents, by law they cannot be called soap. Chances are that when you see a soap called Body Bar, it is not soap at all. Background of soap making. Although no one really knows when the soap was discovered, there are various legends surrounding its beginning. According to Roman legend, soap was named after Mount Sapo, an ancient site of animal sacrifices. After an animal sacrifice, rain would wash animal fat and ash that collected under the ceremonial altars down to the banks of the Tiber River. Women washing clothes in the river noticed that if they washed their clothes in certain parts of the river, after a heavy rain, their clothes were much cleaner. Thus emerged the first soap, or at least the first use of soap. In Israel, Moses gave the Israelis detailed laws governing personal cleanliness. Biblical accounts state that Israelis knew that mixing ashes and oil produced a kind of gel that could be used on hair. Soap is mentioned twice in the Bible, but it is generally agreed that the Hebrew word boreth, which has been translated as soap, is a generic term for any cleansing agent made from wood or vegetable ashes. In Greece, by the 2nd century AD, the Greek physician Galen recommended soap for both medicinal and cleansing purposes. In Europe, bathing habits all over Europe rose and declined with Roman civilization. When Rome fell in 467 AD, so did bathing. It is believed that the lack of cleanliness and poor living conditions contributed to the many plagues of the Middle Ages. Not until the 7th century did soap makers appear in Spain and Italy, where soap was made with goat fat and beech tree ashes. During the same period, the French started using olive oil to make soap. Eventually, fragrances were introduced and specialized soap for bathing, shaving, shampooing, and laundering began to appear. King Louis of France apparently guillotined 3 soap makers for making a bar that irritated his very sensitive royal skin. The English began making soap during the 12th century. In 1633, King Charles granted a 14-year monopoly to the Society of Soap Makers of Westminster. Early soap making was done in open pans where lye, made from plant ash and limestone, was heated with animal fats. They were the ones who used Castile soap during the Tudor period. During the reign of Elizabeth I, soap consumption in England was greater than any other European country. It seems that Queen Bess set the fashion herself, for it was reported that Queen took a bath every 4 weeks, whether it was necessary or not. By the beginning of the 19th century, soap making was the fastest growing industry in the US. How the soaps were made? Rural Americans made soap using a process from the colonial times. They would save ashes from their fires for a month. When they had enough fat left over from butchering hogs, they would make soap. The most difficult part of early soap making was determining if the lye was of the correct strength. The lye water was considered the proper strength to make soap when an egg or small potato placed in the solution floated above halfway beneath the surface of the solution. If the egg or potato floated on the top, the lye was too strong. If it sank quickly, the lye was too weak. Some early soap makers used goose or chicken feathers to test their lye. If the feather inserted in the lye water began to dissolve in it, then the lye water was of the right strength. The first commercial soap was made during the World War I. The injuries of war brought an increased need for cleansing agent. However, at the same time, the ingredients needed to make soap were scarce. German scientists created a new form of soap made with various synthetic compounds, and as a result, detergents were born. After the Great World War and until the 1930s, soap was made by a method called batch kettle boiling. Commercial soap makers had huge 3-story kettles, which produced thousands of pounds of soap over the course of about a week. Shortly thereafter, an invention called continuous process was introduced and refined by Procter & Gamble. This process decreased soap making and decreased the production time to less than a day. Large commercial soap manufacturers still use this continuous process. Thus, soap making has a long history. Today, commercial soaps are made in factories and industries. But handmade soap still has its value because of the organic properties.